Morning students, in the previous class I had explained you about the mixer, their types, and in this class I am going to explain you about the separation of components of mixers. Here we will discuss separation of solid mixer. That means such type of mixer in which both the components are solid and solid. In this video we will go through the mechanical removal or hand picking, magnetic separation method, gravitational method, sublimation method, solvent extraction method, and fractional crystallization method. Let us start with the mechanical separation method or hand picking method. Let us see what is the principle behind it. This method is used only when the quantity of the mixture is small and the substance to be separated is in less amount. That means a small quantity of mixture should be there and the substance to be separated should be in less amount. If it is in more amount, then it will be difficult. And second condition, the shape, size and color of the particles to be separated should be different. That means shape should be different, size should be different and color should be different. Then it will be easy to recognize the substance that to be separated. For example, we can separate tiny stones and chaff from the rice and pulses by hand picking method. Let us see in the diagram. In the diagram you can see rice and here are some pebbles. The color of the pebbles are different from the color of the rice. So it is easy to separate out the pebbles from the mixture of rice and stones. If it is of same color, then it will be difficult. So students, by hand picking method we can separate this type of substances. Let us move to the next method. It is the magnetic separation method. Let us see what is the principle behind it. One of the components should be magnetic in nature. Magnetic in nature, that means attracted by the magnet. And what are the magnetic material? They are iron, nickel, chromium, cobalt. They are attracted by magnet. So this method is used when the mixture of iron and sulfur. One is the magnetic material, iron and sand, nickel and brass. Then we can use this method and this type of mixtures can be separated by magnetic separation method. Let us see in the diagram. Here is sulfur, here is iron filings and here is the mixture of iron and sulfur. How can we separate iron from this mixture? We take a magnet and move over this mixture. What will magnet do? Magnet will attract the iron filings and sulfur will be left behind. So by this method we separate the iron from the mixture of iron and sulfur. Let us move to the next topic, gravitational method. Let us see what is the principle behind it. Here one of the components should be much heavier than water and the other is much lighter than water. One should be heavier so that it will settle at the bottom. Other should be lighter so that it will float over the water. Let us see the example. Mixture of sand and sawdust can be separated by gravitational method. Let us see in the diagram. Here is a mixture of sand and sawdust mixed in water. As sawdust is lighter than water, so it floats over the water, and sand is heavier than water, so it settled at the bottom of the beaker. After filtration, we can remove the sawdust and sand particles will be left behind. So dear students, we separated sawdust from a mixture of sand and sawdust. Let us move to the next method, sublimation method. First we should know what is sublimation method. It is a process in which a solid changes vapor directly on heating. That means when we heat a solid, it directly changes into vapor, and on cooling, that vapor turns to solid directly. That means when we heat a solid, it will not turn into liquid, it directly changes into vapor, and after cooling we will get the solid again. Some examples of sublime substances are camphor, naphthalene, iodine, ammonium chloride. Let us see the principle behind sublimation method. Solid mixture in which one of the components should be sublime. We can use this method only when one of the component should be sublime, that means directly changes into vapor on heating. Let us see the example. Mixture of sand and iodine, common salt and ammonium chloride, they can be separated by sublimation method. Let us see in the diagram. Here in the china dish, here is a mixture of ammonium chloride and common salt. Over the china dish, we have kept a funnel, inverted funnel, and over the inverted funnel, cotton plug is kept so that vapor will not come out. Now what are we doing? We heat this china dish which is kept at the wire gauge. After heating, slowly heating, what happens? Ammonium chloride vapors forms and they go up. Ammonium chloride vapors slowly cools down and deposited at this area. That means upper area only. As ammonium chloride is solid, on heating changes into vapor, and on cooling the deposition of ammonium chloride we can find in this area. So dear students, we can separate sublime substances and other substances by this method. Let us move to the next method. Solvent extraction method. What is the principle behind it? Here one of the components of a mixture should be soluble in particular liquid. Soluble, that means dissolve in particular liquid, and this liquid either water or any other solvent. And the other should be insoluble. That means the two components, one should be soluble and other should be insoluble in water or any other solvent. Dear students, water is called the universal solvent because water dissolves many of the salts. Let us see the example. Mixture of sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. Sodium chloride, this is common salt, and calcium carbonate, this is chalk. Common salt dissolves in water while chalk settles down at the bottom when we take the mixture in a beaker in which there is water. Here chalk settles down at the bottom because it is insoluble. Then what will we do? Salt solution. We will pour out the salt solution, and after evaporation we get the salt again. That means we separated sodium chloride, that is common salt, from the mixture of sodium chloride and calcium carbonate. Let us move to the next method. Fractional crystallization method. What is the principle behind it? Solubility of solid components of mixture should be different in same solvent. That means we will take such type of components, they are soluble in a solvent, but their solubility should be different in the same solvent. It will be clear from this example. In a mixture of common salt and potassium nitrate, common salt and potassium nitrate both are soluble in water, but solubility of potassium nitrate is more than common salt. That means potassium nitrate dissolves in water faster than common salt. When the hot solution of this mixture is cooled, we will get the crystals of potassium nitrate first, as its solubility is more than common salt. Then what happens? The common salt, that is sodium chloride, will be left behind. So we got potassium nitrate and common salt separately by the fractional crystallization method. Dear students, I hope this video is helpful for you. If you found this video helpful, then don't forget to like, subscribe and share. And here is work to do. Explain the different methods of separation of solid-solid mixture and describe an activity to separate common salt and ammonium chloride with label diagram. Thank you. Have a nice day.